Good evening and welcome to the November edition of the Town of Kent Zoning Board of Appeals. Before we begin, please rise and join me in pledging allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you all. I'd like to remind everyone to silence your cell phones if you have not already done so. Also, any applicants that have those receipts for the return receipt request copies to give in, please make sure to bring them up to me, and then you can, when you go up to the podium, sign yourself in, and then you can tell us why you're here. So first application up for this evening is that of Jonathan Willens and Julia Beardwood.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Jonathan Willens. I met many of you yesterday at my house on Lake Sagamore. I'm with James Hartford, my architect. My wife Julia and I have had this property in our family since 1991, and we're living in a cottage that was built in 1948. It needs to be replaced, and as I explained yesterday, we've got a beautiful house design on a similar size footprint that's being moved 15 feet further back from the lake so that it'll be a 100-foot setback, but otherwise complies with all the setback restrictions of the Town of Kent and the Lake Association. It's a sustainable house. We'll have no fossil fuels on the property, and we believe it's going to be a major addition and benefit to our community. And I'll turn the microphone over to Mr. Hartford.
Hi, good evening. James Hartford, River Architects. Thanks for having us here tonight. So you've got the receipts there from our mailings. I'm going to just walk through. Let me take this around. I'm going to just pull this forward. Thanks. Okay, so just a site plan to walk you through here. Red dot represents where the house is on Sagamore. Thanks. So currently you can see it's a fairly small but consistent with the neighborhood lot existing. This is the existing footprint of the house as it currently sits. These are our setbacks, and this is the wetland buffer zone, 100-foot distance from the lake. So you can see currently that the house is pretty much like 50% into the wetlands buffer. Our goal is to actually take down, rebuild the house further back so that the majority of the house is outside of the buffer zone. So you can see here in orange, this is the proposed footprint. It's more or less the same as the existing. So we're conforming to all of our setbacks. We're conforming to our building ratio to the lot. It's just simply the conditions of the smaller lot size and the front road frontage that we're asking variances for. We have some really on the design of the house, if that's helpful. So on the Sagamore side drive, we're coming in using the same existing driveway, not a change in the curb cut. Because the house kind of crests here, right, kind of consistent with the wetlands buffer, the entrance to the house is going to be at the basement level. Essentially, it's like a walkout basement condition, and so it'll approach from there. And then coming around to the lake side, we've got some stone steps up. The patio and screen porch is still within the buffer, but that, currently the existing patio is way out here, so we're pulling that back as well, but no occupied space in the buffer zone. And the Conservation Board, the consultants have been reviewing this, and we're close to approval with them. The finishes are natural and kind of quiet, so they'll blend in with the landscape and won't be out of character in the neighborhood, and I think will be kind of quietly attractive. This is a rendering looking from the street side. You can see the walkout condition here. Thanks. And then from the lakeside, views opening up, but it's essentially a two-story house from the lakeside, and that's our presentation.
And you're going to have as I understand, you're going to have a basement.
Yes, yeah, walkout basement on the driveway side.
Okay. Well, well, anyone have any questions, concerns?
And it's going to be a passive house, right? So there's not going to
Yes.
be any fossil fuels at all?
Correct, yes. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, is it air-to-air heat pumps or
Great
ground?
question, yes, yeah.
Air-to-air?
Air to air, yes.
Well, as you are aware, through your application, this meets the requirements under 239M. And the application had to be referred to the county planning, and it has been.
Okay.
Once the county planning department deems it complete, which we haven't heard any counter, they have 30 days to arrive at a decision. So we are not going to make a decision on this application this evening. We're going to wait to see what county planning says through the 239M process.
Okay.
As soon as we hear back, we will place you back on the docket, and you'll be able to come in.
Okay, great.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application up is that of David Beresford. Come on up, Mr. Beresford. Don't be shy. And you can sign in as well, Mr. Beresford.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jason Snyder with Beatty and Watson, representing the applicant David Beresford. Mr. Beresford is requesting some area variances for a pre-existing non-conforming lot on Kent Lake Ave. We need a area variance, lot area, lot frontage, and lot width.
Okay, so just so I understand this, Mr. Beresford, your residence is on 31 Anton Drive, correct?
It is.
I'm sorry?
It is.
Okay.
My daughter got married, and her husband and my daughter been looking for a place for a couple of years, and we found this one, so hoping to keep it close.
Okay. Well, as you are aware, this meets the requirements under the 239M referral process. So we have submitted paperwork to Putnam County. As I previously mentioned, they have 30 days to render a decision and get it back to us. So we're not going to make a decision on this application until we hear back from Putnam County. When we do hear back from Putnam County, you'll be placed on the docket, and you'll have an opportunity to re-present.
Okay.
Okay?
Are we going to take comments or?
Oh, yes, yes. Is anyone here would like to comment on this application?
Yeah, we are all the neighbors in the surrounding area.
No, come up one at a time, sir.
Could I just ask one question before you come up? Because then I guess you're off the hook. But there was a statement in your letter, sir. There was a quote, and I'm trying to figure out where the quote came from. You said, this is, quote, "a lot, the area or dimension of which was lawful prior to the adoption or amendment of a zoning ordinance, but which fails to conform to the requirements of the zoning district in which it is located by reasons of such adoption or amendment." That's in quotes.
Yeah, well, it's just a law. That's the definition in the law of a pre-existing non-conforming lot.
That's what I'm getting at. What law? I don't think it's part of our zoning code. What
No,
law?
it's not in the code. It's the. I can reference it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a law that binds us.
It's a definition. It's the definition of a non-conforming lot. That's the definition of a non-conforming lot.
So just sort of a dictionary definition, not
Correct.
a legal
Well,
definition?
it's a legal definition of a non-conforming lot.
Well, what I'm getting, I mean, we're bound by the Kent Code, New York
Right.
State law.
Sure.
I'm wondering if that's something that is part of that legal body.
Sure, it's in, yeah, I can reference it.
Yeah, could you please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dave Beviello. I live at 51 Kent Lake Avenue, next to his property there. And I have a few problems with that. One is the ledge. It's all ledge there. It's going to have to be blasted out, and I don't know. Can I walk around there?
Take the mic with you.
Okay, this ledge here is underground. They must have chopped it out and brought over to my prop. Was that the right way? No, my property's right. Yeah. Anyway, they must have chopped it out because when they put my septic tank in, they hit a ledge, which I'm assuming is the same ledge as this one. And this ledge here, I have water running out from this thing all the time. I don't know why, there's an underground stream there or what it is. That's one thing. And now, I was approved in 2000 to put up a 3-bedroom house. And they did a perk test, and they knocked me down to 2-bedroom because they said I didn't have enough septic. So I had to put 100% expansion in, and I had 500, I don't remember, I gotta look. I had to double my septic. And I only got a 2-bedroom house. Now I'm starting to know how he is going to fit this septic in there. There is no way he could fit that house, septic in there. It's impossible. There's not enough room for it. And
The
that
septic is
water
under the purview
also,
of the Board of Health.
huh?
The septic is under the purview of the Board of Health, not the zoning board. But, you know, I understand your concern.
Well, there's a lot of other problems. I mean, my neighbor gets flooded from that. Now he's going to get flooded from groundwater and water from his septic. And that ledge, if he's got to blast that out, that's going to crack my foundation. It's going to crack my septic tank. It's going to crack everything. So I don't believe that that's a buildable lot at all. That whole thing is a ledge. That's about it.
Dave, can we address that for you?
Huh?
Can we address that for you?
Sure.
We have advanced septic systems.
You need to go up to the mic, please.
Do you want me, I don't really know where to begin with that. We're not proposing it, there's no blasting proposed. We have the ledge is located on the.
Grab the mic, please.
I mean, the house is proposed in between, that's why the house is sited where it is, because it's proposed in between the ledge rock. There's no ledge proposed, there's no ledge where the proposed house is. as far as the septic system goes, probably what he's referring to is doubling the size of the septic system. Is you need 100% reserve area. I don't know.
If I can interrupt for a moment, if anyone's having a conversation, you can please take it out into the hall so we can hear this clearly. Thank you. Proceed, sir.
So typically, you have to provide 100% reserve. We got a waiver for 100% reserve because this is a Board of Health approved subdivision lot. So I believe we have something like 59%. We have a 2-bedroom with like 59% reserve area. But we do, we were able to get the approval from the DEP because we provided some advanced treatment unit with the septic and also an oversized septic tank. So they allowed less than 100% reserve for a 2-bedroom. It is approved by the health department and the DEP that way. So I mean, we did right next, right next to the ledge, right? I mean, we got 7-8 foot test holes. So, I mean, yeah, there's rock outcroppings, but there is soil on the property. It's not like the whole property is just ledge rock. There is soil on the lot because we got 7 foot holes. There's no fill required for the septic system. We got full depth test holes, so there were 7, I believe up to 8 feet, 7.5 feet. So there is soil on the property, which is where we have the house, where the house is, there's soil there.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how much linear feet he has there, but I have 250 linear feet and 100% expansion on my house. There's no way he could have that. That's for a 2-bedroom, which my house is now. It's not a 3-bedroom. I'm getting charged for a 3-bedroom through the taxes, but it's not. There's no way he could have that much septic system that big in there. And it's simple.
Can I?
Sure.
Well, it's all laid out and designed and approved by the septic. It's approved by the health department, and you don't need that. The health department, since 2000, the health department has reduced their design flow from 200 gallons per day per bedroom down to 150 gallons per day per bedroom, and that was around like 2012. And now they reduced it again to 110 gallons per day per bedroom. With all those changes, with all those reductions in design flow, the only thing that we've done to this design over the past 20 years that we've been renewing it is just increasing the size of the reserve. So we've always provided whatever was required for the primary system. And we've just taken, over the years, as the design flow has been reduced, we've just taken away from the primary and added that to the reserve. So initially we had like 0 reserve area when it was initially approved, and now it's up to, like I said, it's like 59% or something like that.
Okay, we have another gentleman who would like to come up and speak. Please, sir, sign in.
I am at 45, right next door. Only thing is that the excavation, to get rid of that huge boulders, they have to diamondite or whatever they do. And I have a house which is brick outside, and I may gonna suffer major damage if they have the proper insurance to cover it, or whatever damage will happen in my house.
Yeah, we understand your concern with that. It is my understanding that if it ever came to that, a situation where they would need blasting near residences, a detailed inspection has to be conducted of everyone's foundations. And ultimately, there's other methods that can be used, from what I understand, besides blasting, I'm not a construction guy, I'm not an engineer, but there's liquid compounds that they can pour into the rock to cause it to expand and break. But we're not to that point yet, and that's not a consideration of why we're here, the zoning board.
Right.
We hear your concerns, we understand them.
Okay.
But tonight, we're just here for the,
Otherwise, what objection I have, it's they have to put a septic tank and a leach field and a whole work, so a lot of work has to be done ahead before any construction, which,
Those are items that can be addressed through the planning board process that they have to go through also.
okay, all right. Okay,
This-
thank you.
I mean, this also needs a planning board public hearing as well.
Correct.
So, if blasting or hammering is required, there's gonna be, we're gonna have to provide a blasting plan, with monitoring and all that, so.
thank you. Sir?
Hi, my name's Chris Myers. I'm from 43 Kent Lake Ave, and basically I have the same issues, and I think that water's a big issue in that area. My friend Julius has had his basement flood like 3 times up to here, and I think that having another septic system that close is just going to add more water to the whole thing, and so that's why I would oppose such a thing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Donald Comacco. I'm located at Alberta 56 Kent Lake Avenue. I think we could all pretty much agree that my neighbors, our concerns are basically that big sized rock that's on that property. With that said, I understand that this is not the place for it, like you said, to address all that issue. But what our concern is that when you do build this house, how are you gonna either remove that rock, and there is other ways besides blasting? With that said, that's gonna shake pretty much our foundation or the retaining walls that we have, because those properties around that area, whether it be snowstorm, rains, it's constantly moving. So hypothetically, if you're doing a lot of drilling, that's gonna move our paved driveway, which is gonna cause it to crack, or any drilling at all is gonna cause a crack on our foundation. If and when that happens, we just want to be compensated the fact that if these happens to our house, it's going to affect it. What are their proposed plan? I understand it's not here and it's not the time for it, but these are the issues that we have on this land. Obviously, this land's been here for years and it wasn't permitted to build nothing on it. I don't know when this individual occupied that space, and now he's proposing to build a house on it. I don't know what the lot size or bedrooms that you might be proposing to. Again, these are just our concerns. I understand that you guys said that it's not time or place for it, but main thing is our foundation, the wellness of our house, because that's gonna affect pretty much the surrounding neighbors. So those are just the issues that we wanna address and, for you guys to hear out. Other than that, that's what we have.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Again, we're not proposing to remove the rock outcroppings. The rock outcroppings on the site are going to be intact. We have a grading, but we're not proposing, we're only proposing fill. It's just fill. There's really no cut. And there's going to be a little bit of cut associated with the foundation. But again, that's outside of these rock outcroppings.
Okay.
Can I ask a question on that? You said that it's filling, right? You're filling the
Come up to the mic, please.
So he said that he's filling the property on that rock. So that would affect him when rain comes, because all the water is gonna go on both their properties. He's been flooded 3 times since I've been there, his house specifically. That's the reason why his basement, it's unusable because of that reason. And I'm saying probably the person right next to him. So if you have a house that's up to here and their house is to here, you're filling it more with rocks or sand, the water is just gonna go downhill, which is gonna cost them and maybe Dave too, because it's just the way it is. So again, I would like to see that, how you're gonna do that, and try to avoid the flooding on all these houses that's surrounding them.
The stormwater runoff from the driveway and the house and impervious surfaces are going to be collected in a stormwater management practice, and it's going to be cleaned, and it's going to be discharged towards the lake, and it's sort of like a created wetlands.
What are you proposing for that? Are you proposing a retention pond for that, to manage the stormwater? How's it gonna go?
Under subsurface infiltration chambers,
Okay,
and then that'll be further cleaned in a constructed wetlands at the edge of the pond, or at the edge of the lake, and so it'll be directed towards the lake after treatment and infiltration into the ground.
okay, and again, not being knowledgeable in that area, what is the life expectancy of those subsurface infiltration systems? And who's gonna do the maintenance on them? Is there regular maintenance
There's gonna have to
involved?
be a maintenance agreement on it.
I'm sorry?
There's gonna have to be a maintenance agreement on it. There's gonna have to be some sort of there's gonna be a stated maintenance to be performed associated with that.
Okay, so is the maintenance of that system, is that incumbent on the homeowner to arrange a contractor to service that? How's that gonna be arranged?
It will be, I haven't worked that out yet.
Think
I
about
mean,
it.
if there's, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, these areas of concern are areas that need to be addressed. They're generally addressed at the planning board level to dealing with the subsurface water and septic systems. The Board of Health has already approved the septic, and they've got approvals from DEP. But what they're talking about, the stormwater management runoff, those are all planning board issues. And when that comes up for public hearing, those individuals' neighbors should approach the planning board so that they can get their opinions put down, so that the planning board consultants and engineers can work with these folks to get those problems rectified.
Yeah, and thank you, Bill, for bringing that up. I just wanted to have a working knowledge for my members, just to have an idea of the subsurface system.
I'm not an expert, but just a personal observation. A lot of the runoff looks like it's coming right down the road, and there's no curb there. So the house next door, downhill, I think it's just coming right off the road. I mean, that's my personal observation.
Okay, sir, you can come on up to the mic.
Maybe you guys could clarify this for me. So the lake in that area, is it a lake or is it a reservoir?
Not a reservoir,
It's not a reservoir.
it's a lake.
It's a lake.
It's controlled by New York City DEP.
Okay. So with that said, he proposed something like a cleaning, right? Nobody has cleaned that lake since I've been years
That's
on.
New York City.
I understand that. So we ourselves try to clean it because at one point that was a working lake and that was a clean lake,
Correct.
right? So if New York City is not willing to clean that lake, how is he proposing to clean that lake
You need to take that
himself?
up with New York City. There are projects that are coming up.
I understand that, sir.
There are projects that are upcoming between the county and DEP to do work on that lake in the near future. But again, those items need to be addressed with New York City. Good luck with that.
No, correct. Correct. No, I understand you completely, but he said that he's going to do the cleaning some of his own.
Oh, he's taking care of the stormwater management from his property that will discharge off into the lake.
Into the lake, correct.
Correct. That has to be approved, and I'm assuming it's already been approved by New York City DEP, because that's what he got the variances for.
Okay.
It was an individual residential stormwater permit for construction of impervious surfaces within 100 feet of a water body. That's what we needed the IRSP for, before we got approval for the septic system.
I think we're getting off topic of what we're actually here for, Mr. Chairman.
Sir?
All right, he's saying about the runoff coming off the street. My old neighbor that was there, he got flooded 4 or 5 times too. Now that water, I was there, that water is not coming down off the street. That water was coming directly off that property. It was like a stream into his driveway and into his garage. So that's not coming from the street, that is coming from that property.
Okay.
So if he builds a house there, it's gonna be worse.
Okay, is there anyone else here that would like to speak on this application?
I saw it myself with my own eyes.
Okay, we thank you, residents of Kent Lake Avenue, for coming, giving your input. Mr. Beresford, I do have a question for you. It's just more of a curiosity. Who is K4K LLC?
That's the current owner. I'm a contract vendee. I'm buying the subject to approval.
Okay, so you haven't purchased the property yet?
Right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about the lot itself, how it was created, the approvals,
Well,
Yeah.
not yet.
Okay.
But we will, you'll have another chance to come up here and present before the board once we get further updates for, if any board member has a question now regarding the lot?
Mr. Chairman, here's his postal.
Thank you. Oh, that's fine. Thank you. But like I said, it's a 239M referral situation, so when we hear back, you'll be placed back on the docket. Okay?
That's just the county referral, because it's on a town, because it's on a town road. Has frontage on a town road.
Yeah, and it's also in a watershed area.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
All right, very good.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next item is 170 Waywayanda Court.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thanks, sir. I don't need it. Unless something's changed in your application, I don't need more paper. No.
Good evening. My name is Joel Greenberg from Architectural Visions.
Good evening.
Representing Dr. Ryder.
Did you sign in?
What's my line?
You're dating yourself.
I guess you're right about that. Okay, I believe we were here at the work session last week to review it. Basically, nothing has changed since that last week. Basically, we need two variances because of the use of the property. The Kent Code, requires a 150-foot setback for any part of the house or any part of the parking area. Our side yard setback for the house is 130.5, requiring a small variance of 19.5. And the parking, we have 10-car parking, which was reviewed by both the planning board and yourselves, and that would require a 100-foot setback. The reason, as I mentioned last week, for that location of that parking, and I believe you were out there on Sunday, is that, as you can see from the pictures in the folder I just gave you, from the road and from the lake, the parking is actually blocked so that you can't see it. If we put the parking back 150 feet, which I show in my drawing here, the 150-foot setback, it would be actually alongside the house, and there would be a direct view both from the road and from the lake. And we felt that for purposes of screening, that this would be the best place for the parking lot. The 19.5-foot variance for the house is something that obviously the code requires 150-foot. Again, the most important thing to note is that the property directly adjacent to the north of this property is owned by the state. The closest house, as if you drove down way under Court, is approximately 1 mile from this house. So this building is basically on an island by itself. State property around it, and of course the road does not continue past this house. And the nearest house, as I mentioned before, is approximately 1 mile. Also, we have contacted all the neighbors, even though they're far away from us, but they are willing to sign a petition that they have no objection to these variances. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, great, thank you. Yes, we were out there on Sunday, and I just want to confirm.
Sure.
The parking area that is proposed. As soon as you drive up to the residence, there were vehicles parked along the left side. That's the proposed parking area.
Correct.
Are you going to, do you intend to pave that area?
No, it's going to be gravel.
So it's your position that that area is going to be gravel, okay. Just opposite the parking area, there is a pretty level little piece of property. I assume that's the septic system?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, one thing that we noticed is that you say that the vehicles would be hidden by the tree line.
Well, there's a tree line, there's also some rock ledge and slope, so that if you're standing down on way under the Court and looking back up there, the cars will be much less visible than they would be if we went back the 150 feet and parked alongside the house.
Any other board member?
Well, so you have a picture here. It says that, the bottom picture,
Yes.
cars are behind hill and trees, which was not my experience when I was out there. Where's the angle, where's this picture being taken from? I presume it must be a little bit up the road, because you've actually go down to the house.
Yeah, it was, well, if you hold it, let me hold this up here. This is where the parking area is over here, and the picture was taken looking back this way. So there's an
Right.
area there that would be able to be blocking it.
Well, in fact, it says the house and parking area, from the view is a block from the lake, and that's not true. I mean, you can see it clearly from the lake, and there's an area. So I've been down there hiking before. There's a bunch of hiking trails right across the
Right.
street there, and there's a mowed area, which I presume is mowed by the Department of the city or
City of New York, yes.
And so, it's sort of it has a park-like setting. And so and there the cars are clearly visible. So it's a consideration for me, but I don't know what your what your alternative is. There's no, as you just pointed out, the septic system is, there's no other place to put those cars, I don't think, I know.
Well, as I said, while, obviously it's already autumn already, while it may be a little bit more visible now, but as the chairman said, that rectangle to the right is where the septic system is, so that the cars would then have to be back even further. And I think that that area is all open because the septic area, obviously, we can't put trees and stuff within, I think, 15 or 20 feet of the septic system. So that whole area would be wide open. At least there is some screening here. And if the board feels that there should be some more screening, we certainly would be open to that suggestion. The thing is, we can't put the parking back over here by the septic or directly behind it where the septic tank is.
Yeah, so my one concern is that, the neighbors are not an issue, obviously, there's no neighbors.
No
but-
neighbors.
So the only issue would be people making use of that lake in that area. And so the zoning code, I assume is for the reason of aesthetics and, keeping cars. Normally, people in their houses don't have 10 cars in their front yard, so.
No, that's true.
So this is a different situation, and it's.
Well, it's different in
concerns
several
me.
different ways, the way you just mentioned, but I think the most important one is that this is the last house. There will be no houses going further down, and to the north of it, as I said, it's all state property. So this will be the only house in this area. The nearest house is approximately 1 mile up, way onto Court. So I think that basically it's almost into an island by itself, and as I said, to go back 150 feet would affect the septic system, which obviously we can't do, and we felt that this was the best place to put it. And as I said, if the board feels there's some more screening that is appropriate, we certainly will be open to doing that.
Is it all feasible to put the parking behind the house? So it would both comply with the code and clearly not be visible from the road?
Well, the answer is yes and no. Obviously, if you look at the upper right-hand corner of the house, between there and the wetland, there's not enough room to put a parking lot with the proper aisle, proper backup space. As you can see, if I can just hold this thing up, here's the back of the house. The wetland. Look at the line of the wetland. This would be very difficult. Over here, you've got the septic tank, the septic system. So you'd have to do a lot more gravel and to bring it all the way around. And then once you go the 150 feet, you're basically in the back of the house where you are getting too close to the wetlands. So I think after reviewing this thing and the site itself, this is probably the best place for the parking. Plus the fact that, again, if the board feels we need some more screening, we certainly would be amenable to that. And again, there's no through traffic here because the road basically ends in the stream that comes across where we're under, which leads into, and I guess feeds the lake here itself. So you're really not going to have people going by here looking up at this particular site. I would agree that, yes, people do use the lake, and again, if you feel there's some more screening that's required, we certainly would be amenable to that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the time of year, but, my eyes certainly didn't see what this picture shows.
I apologize for that
Yeah,
then.
no, I mean, maybe this was full foliage and now it's
Well,
not.
yes,
But,
the
you know,
picture was
now it's pretty
taken
visible.
in the early summer, actually, yes.
Any other comments from members?
Well, speaking for myself, not for the board, I would be interested in some sort of more concealing the cars with some sort of trees or something. And you could have this road come a little bit more like that and back around some trees so that you could really hide it from this view from the lake. But
Actually, that's a good point, and what I can do is do a site inspection and see where we can put it so that there's more screening. No problem.
All right, with that said, do I have a motion to approve this application?
I'll make that motion.
No, it's not. Motion made by Andrew Wells to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you can follow up with the
Yes, I will follow up with Bill.
Bill.
Okay, thank you very much.
In this particular case, Joel, follow up with the planning board.
Oh, that's, okay, yes, you're right, you're absolutely right. You're right, Mr. Chairman, and Bill is correct. We do have to go back to the planning board.
Okay, next item up on the agenda is that of Mary Ann Cohen and Masad Cohen. I hope I didn't torture that name too much. Cohen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Again, Joel Greenberg from Architectural Visions. I believe that the board made a site inspection this past Sunday. And again, the whole purpose here, there is no construction here at all. All we're trying to do is to subdivide and have the Cohen's house as part of one lot, and the two houses that are facing are on Long Peekskill Hollow Road, which this board approved as pre-existing non-conforming several years ago, to remain as a separate lot. And if you walk to the back of the property, which I believe you did, the area in the back there is all open. And there's no idea or concept to ever subdivide this property any further. And obviously, this lot is over 797,000 square feet, so it's a big lot. And the area has been very well screened by the Cohens, and they have some beautiful arborvitaes. They have a lot of fruit trees, and obviously that's going to remain part of the property and the lot that they are proposing. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I'll open it up to the board. None?
None.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Was this a 239 now?
Is this 239M? Where don't I see it? No.
It's not?
It's not listed as a 239M.
Oh, okay.
No? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So just to clarify, this would have to go to the planning board as well, is that correct?
Yes, this has to go back
Yeah,
for
yeah,
subdivision.
this is just the
approval. Yes.
zoning of it.
Oh, yes, yes. So
So
you like-
this is still before the planning board? This application?
Yes, what happened was, we proposed the subdivision, and as you can see, there are several variances that required, so the planning board sent us here to the zoning board. Obviously, they could not approve the subdivision unless the variances were approved.
Okay, so I don't think we can vote on this until the planning board does its
But
due.
the planning board can't continue with this project unless you approve the variances.
It needs ZBA variances for the planning board to go forward.
Okay. All right, once again, do I have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll approve, I'll make that motion.
Second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Cohen, you can come on up. Come on up to the podium.
You should-
Oh, that's right. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. I'm having an adult moment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You may want to, Mr. Chairman, you may want to see
I'm
if there's
having an
anybody in the
adult moment.
audience that has any comments.
Does anyone have any comments regarding this application?
Yeah, we just want to understand the whole process of it, really. I mean, we're neighbors, and we're just trying to understand.
Yeah, come up to it.
Thank you.
And if I can say, and it was my confusion because I'm having an adult moment at this time, but the Cohen's property is a subject of a 239M referral, okay? So depending on what, this is all contingent depending upon what the county returns to us, okay?
My name is Rochelle Martinell. We are neighbors, and we're on the, looking at their property, we're on the far left, and we're just trying to understand, are you trying to build a house or anything else? I know that you have the far house on the, what is that, 1301, your main house, the cottage in the front, the left side, and the one closest to us, obviously. So you're trying to do the ones closest to the road, and no.
Very simple. As I mentioned, you're welcome. No, seriously. They are not building anything, they're not moving anything, they're not replanting anything. What you see, you will still continue to see. They're not planning on building it anymore, they're not planning on subdividing anymore, even though their lot is humongous. But
Yes,
all
no,
they
do.
want to do is subdivide it so their house is on one lot, and the other two houses, which were pre-existing non-conforming and approved by this board many years ago,
Right.
will stay just the way it is. So what you see now is what you're going to see for a long, long time.
Okay, so the one house is just being a separate lot?
That's all.
And then the two in the front?
Will be on a separate
On a
lot.
separate one?
Right,
And
the
then
two houses in the, if I might interject, the two houses in the front have a variance for pre-existing status,
Right.
so they're okay. The house, if you're looking at it all the way to the left, that's on a separate lot.
That's a separate one, that I just
The
want.
garage where the main house is now, that they're looking for this subdivision, used to be a garage and they converted it into a house.
Exactly.
They obtained no building permits for it. You only allowed one principal building on a lot. The issue here is that it was all one lot.
Right,
So they need to create a subdivision, create new lines, and move the lines so that the new house will be on its own separate lot. And that's what they're in the process
the
doing.
last house.
The last house, where they live.
1301.
Right, so the house all the way in the back,
Right,
right, they need to get planning board approval for the subdivision, and then they need to get building permits for the building that was converted illegally.
oh, from a garage to a house?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And last but not least, up on the agenda is Carmel Central School District. Yada, yada, yada. It should also be noted that there's another item on the agenda, that of Jeannie Marin Marrero. That was also a 239 referral, and we have not yet heard back from the planning board, so we're going to hold that over, the county planning board, rather, so we're going to hold that over for another month.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the record, Jennifer Gray from Keen and Bean, on behalf of Morrow Equipment, the applicant for the property at 1264 Route 52. I'm pleased to report that at last week's planning board meeting, the planning board did move forward to adopt a secret negative declaration, finding that there's no significant adverse environmental impact that will result from the project. So what that does is it gives you all the green light to move forward with the two remaining variance requests that you have pending before you for the outdoor storage height to allow a height of 32 feet, where 10 is the maximum permitted, and for the light pole height to allow the light poles in the rear of the property to be 35 feet, where a maximum of 20 feet is permitted. I know on the agenda it lists the height variance for the crane. Obviously, we no longer need that based on your determination at a prior meeting that the crane is not a quote-unquote building subject to the building height requirement. So I'm happy to go through some of the points that we've discussed at prior meetings as to why we believe the variances should be granted, but I think we've covered that over the past few months, including a discussion of your previous site visit. So unless you have any questions, I'd ask that you grant the two pending variance requests.
Any board member have any further questions regarding the storage? Okay. Yeah, the height as proposed is reasonable, which we mentioned last month, and necessary under the circumstances to help ensure security, safety, and the efficient operation, so on and so forth. And with that, do I have a motion to approve?
Well, I just want to say for probably the final time now, this is maybe the fourth time I have to recuse myself from this matter because of a relationship that my former firm has with Morrow.
I make the motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Aye. Great, that
Yeah,
takes care of
and
it.
I'm abstaining, just let the
Correct.
record show that.
Doesn't anybody need to be heard, right?
Any comment?
I think we're okay.
Does anyone here like to comment on this application? Anyone present would like to comment on this application? Anyone present like to comment on this application? Okay. Go ahead, Jennifer. You have another?
That vote was for both
Okay.
variances. Is that right?
Yeah, that's
Just wanted
good.
to
Works for
confirm
me.
that. Perfect. Thank you very much, and
Have
have
a
a good
good
night.
one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else before the board? Sir, do you have anything? No. Okay. Okay, that's horse pound. We have a set of minutes that were given to us this evening. We still have not, we haven't had an opportunity to review the minutes from September, so we'll hold them over for approval in December. Is there anything else before the board? There being none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion to adjourn the meeting.
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, see you in December.
Thank you, everyone.